Could this finally be the moment Bears fans have been waiting for? After years of rumors, speculation, and near misses, the door might actually be open. The Chicago Bears may have a real chance to land Trey Hendrickson without giving up a single draft pick. If you love Real Bears talk with honest takes, make sure you like, share, and subscribe right now so you never miss what's coming next. For what feels like forever, the idea of Trey Hendrickson in a Bears uniform has lived in rumor land. Every offseason, every trade deadline, his name pops up again, only for nothing to happen. But this time feels different. This time, the circumstances have shifted, the timing has changed, and the path might finally be clear. And the biggest difference? If Hendrickson reaches free agency, the Bears wouldn't have to trade for him at all. Think about that for a second. No lost first-round pick. No depleted draft capital. Just money, structure, and vision. And that alone makes this conversation completely different than it's been in previous years. Here's why this idea has serious momentum behind it. One of the most respected analytic outlets in football recently broke down the highest-graded defensive free agents expected to hit the market. And when they looked at team fits, they landed Hendrickson with Chicago. Not as a hot take. Not as a clickbait idea. But as a logical football decision based on need, production, and scheme. And honestly, it's hard to argue. The Bears made progress this season, but let's not sugarcoat it. The pass rush was still a problem. Yes, Montez Sweat was productive. Yes, he helped stabilize the edge. But beyond him, the rotation just didn't scare anyone. When you dig into the numbers, it gets uncomfortable fast. Chicago ranked near the bottom of the league in pressure rate, hovering around 29th overall. Outside of Sweat, no edge defender consistently won their matchups or collapsed pockets. So ask yourself this early rhetorical question: how many games slipped away simply because the quarterback had too much time? That's where Trey Hendrickson enters the picture. When healthy, Hendrickson is still one of the league's most dangerous pure pass rushers. Even in a season cut short by injury, his underlying pass rush metrics remained elite. His pressure efficiency stayed in the low 90s grading-wise, which tells you something important. The skill didn't disappear. The motor didn't fade. The production dipped because his body didn't allow him to finish the year. And here's the uncomfortable truth for him, but the opportunity for Chicago: that injury cost him leverage. For the past year and a half, the sticking point between Hendrickson and his former team wasn't performance. It was guaranteed money. He wanted long-term security. They didn't want to fully commit beyond a short window. Eventually, they compromised by giving him a one-year raise, but they never solved the bigger issue. Now, coming off an injury, that leverage is weaker. Teams will still want him, but they won't line up to throw fully guaranteed megadeals at a 30-plus-year-old pass rusher who ended the year on injured reserve. And that's where the Bears could strike. Let's talk contract reality, not fantasy. Hendrickson is not getting $30 million per year fully guaranteed anymore. That ship has sailed. A more realistic scenario is an average annual value under that number, with total guarantees likely landing under $50 million. Something like 2 years with heavy guarantees, or a longer deal where only the first year and a half are truly locked in. That's the sweet spot. Would a 4-year deal with limited guarantees make sense? Possibly. Would a shorter, 2-year structure with strong upfront money work? Absolutely. The key is flexibility. The Bears don't need him to be a 5-year cornerstone. They need him to be a high-impact weapon during a very specific window. And that window is right now. The Bears are operating with a massive advantage: a young franchise quarterback on a rookie contract. That is the golden period in the NFL. That's when aggressive teams push their chips in, supplement the roster with proven veterans, and try to win before the financial math changes. This isn't about the distant future. This is about the next 1 to 2 seasons. Here's the football fit, and this part matters more than money. Hendrickson would not be asked to do everything. He wouldn't need to be a dominant run defender. That's not his strength anyway. His job would be simple and deadly: attack the quarterback. Meanwhile, Montez Sweat could slide into a more balanced role, handling early downs, setting the edge, and becoming a secondary pass rusher instead of the only threat. That combination makes sense. It's complementary. It's realistic. And it doesn't require either player to be something they're not. Now let's pause and hit the question of the day, because this is where opinions will fly. Should the Bears aggressively pursue Trey Hendrickson if the guarantees stay under $50 million? Or should they avoid the risk and focus only on the draft? Comment below and make your case. Of course, free agency isn't the only path. There are other avenues the Bears could explore, and each one comes with its own risks and rewards. There's the blockbuster trade route. The kind that makes headlines and costs premium draft capital. Elite pass rushers don't become available often, but when they do, the price is enormous. You're talking about multiple high picks, massive contracts, and long-term commitments. It's exciting, but it's also dangerous. One wrong move, one injury, and you've crippled roster flexibility for years. Then there's the rest of free agency. Veteran options. Short-term deals. Familiar names who can still play but aren't long-term solutions. These players can help, but none of them change the entire equation the way Hendrickson could. They're solid contributors, not defensive centerpieces. And then there's the draft. The ultimate wild card. Drafting an edge rusher is tempting, especially when you're picking in the middle of the first round. There are players who can help immediately. But history tells us something important. Rookie pass rushers almost never dominate right away. Even very good prospects often top out at 5 or 6 sacks in year 1. Anything beyond that is rare. So if the Bears rely solely on the draft to fix the pass rush, they're likely accepting another season of inconsistency up front. That's why Hendrickson is so intriguing. He's not a projection. He's not a guess. When healthy, he produces double-digit sacks. He changes how offenses game plan. He forces quarterbacks to speed up, which helps everyone behind him. And when you zoom out, improving the pass rush doesn't just help the defensive line. It helps the linebackers. It helps the secondary. It masks weaknesses and turns solid units into strengths. Even if takeaways regress next season, pressure alone can keep a defense competitive. So here's the final thought to leave you with. If the Bears can land Trey Hendrickson on a smart, flexible contract that protects them long-term while maximizing the present, it might be the cleanest solution they've had in years. No trade. No desperation. Just calculated aggression at the right time. And the final question to consider as we wrap up, if not now, then when? Because windows in the NFL don't stay open forever.